The Natural Resource Enterprises program has worked with the university at our Lower Coastal Plain branch in Newton to put demonstrations on the ground to show private landowners how to incorporate conservation practices and enterprises on their working land.
There's multiple things you want to think about, and I'm coming from this not only as a biologist but also a designer, but as a user. And I've used different trails, and a lot of us have used different trails, and some are great and some are not so great, and there's different reasons for it. First, you want to not only pick your location, but you want to decide on what you're going to use it for, okay? Just like we talked about everything else. There's no reason we can't integrate a bunch of things going on here. We're managing a timber stand for obviously longer growth timber than most people would. There's a reason we're doing that, because you don't get to see a lot of this, and it also adds benefit to our nature trail enterprise that we could be running here. In addition, there's a lot of browse in here, so there's no reason you couldn't open this for hunting season. So you could open the hunting season part of the year for the 3 or 4 months that it's open, okay, and you can then, in the other times of the year, including this time of year, do recreational trails. So those are the things you want to think through. Think through the plan. Think long term, and don't go just one way. Diversify, diversify, diversify. Diversify in your habitat management and diversify in your use.
So what you'll hear a lot about today will be recreation on private lands in Mississippi and the Southeast. One of the first things this program worked with landowners is setting up hunting enterprise type businesses, everything from outfitter businesses to leasing land, which most landowners in Mississippi, if they're involved in a hunting operation, they lease land.
You've probably heard a lot today about compatibility, sustainability. Those are our two key buzzwords. Being able to have an enterprise that's not only sustainable but compatible with what else you have going on, whether that's a cattle farm or a tree farm, whatever. To me, from a wildlife standpoint, if I have a real high wildlife objective, wow. For this soil type, it doesn't get a whole lot better than this. Good forest management is good wildlife management. Okay, if I'm gonna do a real good job, a stewardship job on this timber stand, thinning it when it needs to be thinned, doing the timber stand improvement work that needs to be done, I'm gonna have pretty good wildlife habitat as a result of those two features of going into those stands and doing stand management. But back to our sustainable and compatible issues, as we're talking about recreation, a trail system. You think this trail system is going to look very good if it's clear cut? Probably not very many people are going to like that, are they? I mean, they're just not going to give, that's not going to be a revenue builder for you. Okay, people aren't going to want to come camp in a clear cut.
What we do is focus on agritourism, creating unique experiences for visitors to our farm. I tell people every day, I've got to be the world's worst farmer, but I can show people a good time. There's basically three aspects or three basics of agritourism: have something for people to see, have something for them to do, and have something for them to buy.
The goals this morning is obviously to give you an overview of how B&Bs fit into the overall tourism picture and the impact on tourism here in the state. To take you through how to operate a B&B, just the overview, so you get an idea of what you're getting into if you choose to do a B&B on your property, and help you maybe think about what you can develop as far as a unique niche market for your own particular property, and then what steps to take to start a bed and breakfast.
What I try to do is keep these landowners from panicking about the liability issues. And as I've stated here, I've done a lot of research into this. There are not a lot of cases that you'll run across where the landowner who's bringing out the Sunday school group to go fishing at his place is getting held liable for those sorts of things. I mean, it's good public policy at a state level to encourage our landowners to open up their lands to people.
When it comes to camping, there are different clientele. You're not going to be able to charge a per acre charge like we do for our typical row crops or forestry operations or deer leases. It's going to be packaging. It's very similar to the bed and breakfast talk. They're going to get a weekend package where they have maybe full access with a boat or a canoe, or they can bring their own where they can boat and fish on the pond, and they have full access to the hiking trails. You may offer food opportunities for them to bring in food from local restaurants or let them cook their own. We're selling experience.